the idea that if you want things to be different, you have to be willing to do different things. And I had this really clever title. It's like super simple, but as soon as I hit record, I forgot it. But it's like, oh yeah, if you want something you never had before, you have to be willing to do something you've never done before. And something I realized recently on my journey is that when I feel frustrated or dissatisfied, it's typically because I know I could be doing better, whether it's in a particular area or subject. I know I could be doing better, but I'm not taking the action to make that happen, to make that potential reality come to fruition. And I'm going to give you an example. So lately I've been going out and learning how to talk to women, okay? And I have, for years, since I was a teenager, been really interested in learning how this works. I was never taught it as a child, like male-female dynamics and how to sexualize interactions, how to be more masculine in that context. I never knew any of those things, so I've had to learn. And it often pushed me to go to YouTube and read books on the topic. And over the last few years, I would really essentially masturbate over the knowledge I was learning instead of actually taking the action necessary to learn that skill. Because I didn't want to face the discomfort of having to do that. But it got to the point recently where now I'm literally on my own in my apartment. I don't have my brother there, or I don't really have friends in the direct vicinity yet, in my proximity to really rely on. That I've had to take it under my own initiative to make it happen. And so the other night, a friend and I went out to a bar in the area, and I was tired, but I said I'm going to push the tired. I want to get comfortable in this environment. And at one point I had become comfortable in like high stimulated environments like bars and clubs and stuff like that. I had become at least comfortable in the environment, but it's been a while. It's been a few months. So now getting back there Friday, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. And now I have to not only be comfortable, but I have to interact with people. And the program I'm going through talks about progressive desensitization. So starting small and working your way up. That's really how you should approach everything. Whether it's your fitness journey, relationship journey, any endeavor or new habit you're trying to form, progressively desensitizing yourself, I found, is a much more effective means of learning versus going super hard. I remember reading the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and having never ran before, or having never run before, I ran 6 miles. And while it was like, wow, that really helped me push the mental barrier of what I thought I could do. I ran 6 freaking miles. Never ran that far in my life. But it came at a cost. And I really messed up my knee doing that. And we were running in the snow, and I was blasting the Rocky theme song, just looping that as we ran. I remember telling my buddy, we're going to run 5 miles. Little did he know, I had an extra mile in mind. But what I'm trying to get at is, it does require paying a price to be the kind of person that you want to be. And so for me, wanting to get better at this particular thing, dating, relationships, requires me to sacrifice that former self, maybe in some ways that, in a lot of ways, that current self that doesn't do those things. So how do we then become the person that does those things? Well, we make choices and decisions aligned with that higher version of ourselves. You can call it a higher version of yourself or ideal version of yourself, and realize that every decision you make is a vote for the person that you want to be. And this is an idea from James Clear's Atomic Habits, which I haven't finished yet, but it has a just a massive amount of value packed into that book. And that's one thing it talks about, is making decisions based on the person you want to be. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you want to be. So every time that I didn't go out, where I literally just sat home by myself watching YouTube or playing Xbox or what have you, was a vote in favor of, I'm the guy who stays home on Friday nights and doesn't do anything. And so then I can't be mad at myself, or the future version of myself, for not knowing how to do XYZ skill, for not knowing how to go out to a bar or club setting and make friends. I can't blame, I voted for this. I've made this decision. And so yesterday I made a decision to go out, again with that one friend who slept over and my brother. We went out to a place with a lot of people. And as part of this progressive desensitization, just started complimenting people. Complimenting a couple of guys, complimenting a couple of girls. What was interesting was that was challenging, and I'm a fairly social person in regular circumstances, but literally going out to do it was really, it kind of felt odd to start with. But then over time, the more I was doing it, the more momentum I was getting, this kind of social momentum, and people were really looking at me, and it creates this energy about you that people want to be around. Like, oh, this guy doesn't care. This guy, wow, because it's an abundant energy, especially when you're complimenting people. Like, you feel good giving the compliment, they feel good receiving it. I told this one guy, this older guy, I'm like, hey, I really love your style, and I gave him like a fist bump, and you could tell he was really appreciative of that. And so that's creating this abundant energy. And so a lot of times life often feels like Groundhog's Day. If you ever seen that movie, I highly recommend it. And in that movie, Bill Murray's character is this really pessimistic asshole. And he realizes, okay, every day is repeating itself. And so his initial impulse is to then, like, okay, I have all this information. I'm going to try to manipulate it to what I want. I'm going to try to so he would learn things about women, right, in order to seduce them. And he would get to a certain point and it would never really work, right? Like, he'd get all this information on them, and then he would try all these techniques and tactics, and it didn't come off authentic. It didn't come off organic. It was only when, if I recall, I saw someone recently, but it's been a few months, if I recall, spoiler alert, towards the end, you know, he goes through all these trials and tribulations. He learns to accept that every day is going to be the same. And he surrenders to that idea of, like, okay, how can I make the most of this experience? And then so what he does is he learns how to play piano, and he becomes more active in his community. All these things that are virtuous, right? And I'm not saying you have to go and do play piano and do all these different things, but the message, the core theme that I got from it was, you have to be willing to accept your circumstances and do things in order to fill your own cups. I mean, I've talked about in another video, do things for yourself, right? When you do that, when you're not focused on what everybody else is doing, or doing things for someone else to get the approval, the validation, the attraction, the attention of someone else, when you do things because you genuinely want to do them, that's when the things you want come to you. And it's really funny for me to say that. And it's like, oh wow, I sound so like I have all the answers. No, I don't have all the answers. It sucks when you're doing it. It sucks having to face rejection. But what sucks even more for me now is the inverse of not taking any risks, not taking any chances. So I hope you got something out of this. I'm really excited to be making these videos. I'm really extremely grateful for the support that I've been getting on these videos, and I intend to make more. And I would also love to know what you want to learn about, or what you want me to dissect or talk about. I mean, what I'm talking to you about right now are things that I generally talk to myself about. I literally have this app. I'll hit record, Cocoon Weaver it's called, and I'll just talk about these things out loud to try to make sense of the world and my relationship with it. So if there's anything you want me in particular to talk about that I might have insight on, drop it in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it if you could like this video. I don't know what that does, but it does make me feel good, so that'd be awesome. And subscribe if you feel called to it. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm before I let you go, I'm gonna be trying to. I'm going to be making these videos as often as I can. I'm hesitant to commit to saying every single day, but I really am going to try to do this every single day. So, with that, again, thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.